This video is going to cover how to complete the bracket. The bracket diagram document is located in your Blackboard course. If you would like to open up and follow along on your computer, or you can try it first and then come back and watch the video or do it after. So first of all, the first thing that you want to notice is this is most likely in metric since we have a larger number here. Typically, when you're drawing, you're in inches or in millimeters. And if you had 60 inches, that would be 5 feet. And this is some type of bracket, so I'm pretty sure it's not a 5-foot bracket in this case, but we're going to treat it as metric. Typically, it'll be marked as metric, but this one is not today. So let's go ahead and figure out how to start a metric drawing. And again, you can watch your previous videos on the quick start menu and your menu options, but let's just review them here real quick. If you set up your quick start menu, when you go to new, you will see your start from scratch option, and you can just choose metric, which means all your default settings are already set up for metric. Or you can go ahead and go to your start menu here, and you can do new, but it'll actually be whatever the last drawing you started is. So we will make sure that we go to browse templates, and you'll see that AutoCAD already has some basic templates for you. In this case, we have a metric manufacturing tutorial template. And if you select that, I'm just going to open it up real quick. You'll see it brings you into paper space. You just need to come down here and go to model space. And again, everything that you have set up for metric standards would be set up for this file. But in this case, all I did was use that quick start menu just to create a quick metric drawing, because I don't need to worry about what my dimensions look like and things of that nature. Now, again, we are not going to create the dimensions because we haven't learned that yet, but we are going to create this part. And I'm going to show you some different techniques. Now, in previous videos, you may have seen where we use dynamic input to create our lines. In this case, we're not going to do that. We're going to look at this part and analyze how we can create it. So first of all, I want you to notice this line that we have here. That is a line of symmetry, which means everything on the left is the same as everything on the right. And when I look at this, so I know looking at this item right here, that I have 3 items that have a radius of 30. So each one of these arcs here has a radius of 30. And then I also look at that I have diameter 18, 4 holes, which means there's 4 holes that have a diameter 18. So each one of these holes don't have to be dimensioned because it shows us right there what it is. So what we're going to take a look at is I'm actually going to use a rectangle command to create this drawing. So I'm going to go up here to my rectangle. And again, I'm not necessarily using my 0, 0. I just use my screen as plain paper, and I'm just going to select anywhere on my screen. Once I've done that, I've created an opportunity to create a rectangle, but I don't want to just try stretching it out and guessing the size. So I'm going to use dynamic input. The first thing I'm going to do is do my @ symbol. So Shift 2, that @ symbol, because where I clicked this upper corner here, I just did a random point. So when I put that @ symbol, if you remember from earlier videos, it makes wherever you clicked a temporary 0, 0. So if this is my temporary 0, 0, I want to go over, let's see, my x-axis. So from here to here is 60. So from here to the other side is also 60. So 120. So I have my @ symbol, and I'm going to be moving to the right. I want to create this to the right side here. So I'm going to put my 120. And then my overall height here is 60. So I want to go ahead and put in my -60. And the reason I'm putting negative in is so that it creates the rectangle down. If I would have put positive, my rectangle would have been created above, because my y coordinate is going to be negative. It's going to go below that line I had just created. So now as I look at this, the next thing I want to do is go ahead and create these arcs here. Now I'm not going to use the arc command because all I know is the radius. I know also by looking at this that the center is here, but when I look at all my arc commands, I don't have one that has center radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a circle And then we're going to use a command called trim. I'm going to modify my circle. Now I'm going to come in here and I don't want to use diameter because it's showing me my measurement as a radius. So do your drop down menu, make sure you choose radius. And it specify my center point. So my center point is going to be on this corner. And now notice what it says, specify your radius. So again, you don't have to memorize any of these commands. If you look up by your cursor or down here by your command line, it'll tell you what it wants you to do next. So we're going to type in 30 for our radius and then just hit enter. We're going to do that also on the right corner here. And we can see that our center point's right here from this measurement. So we're going to go ahead and put in our 30. And then the last one we're going to do is this one down here. And we know the center point is in the center or in the midpoint of that horizontal line. Because again, remember, it's symmetric on both sides. So it's going to be in that midpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my radius. And I'm going to snap to the midpoint. Notice as I get close, it snaps. If you're not getting that midpoint snap, you want to come down to your object snap. Number one, make sure it's on, it's blue. And if it's still not working, what you want to do is do the drop down menu and make sure midpoint is selected. So we're going to go ahead and get close to it. And as we get close to it, it kind of snaps there for us. We left click and go ahead and add our 30-degree radius. So at this point, I know I want to keep only part of this circle. I want to keep this arc. I want to keep this large arc here and this arc here. So I'm actually going to modify my drawing. I'm going to slide over here. I'm holding down. If you have a 3-point mouse with the roller button in the middle here, you can zoom in and out. I'm pressing down just to kind of slide it over for us. I'm going to go up here and I'm modifying something that's already here. So add something to your paper or your model space, modify, edit something here. So we're going to go to trim and I'm going to select this outer arc. And let's say by accidentally chose the wrong one. Maybe I accidentally chose, let's do this one here. You can always right click and hit undo and it'll place it back for you. So you make sure that you choose the correct one. We're going to go ahead and get rid of these extra lines here. And then same thing down here. I want to keep this part of the circle, this arc here. So I'm going to just select my circle over the top. And the nice thing is notice the cursor has a little X, so it lets you know that it's actually removing what you're selecting. All right, so that's the outside component. Once I'm finished, all I have to do is hit escape and it escapes out of the command. So the last thing that I need to do, because again, we're not doing dimensions yet, we're going to place in these 4 circles. So the first thing I want to do is look at it. It's in a diameter because full circles are always in a diameter. Partial circles, your arcs are always in radius. So make sure that you change from center radius to center diameter. And I'm going to use a snap from option. If you don't have this menu yet, go up to your tools. You go down to your toolbars, AutoCAD, and choose object snap. What this menu allows you to do is do a nice, wonderful feature called snap from. So when I choose this circle command and I choose snap from, wherever I select is going to be the base point or the 0, 0 for my circle I'm going to be placing. In this case, it could be a line, could be the start of a rectangle and things of that nature. So we're starting a circle. The center point, my base point is going to be from this corner. And then whatever I put in is going to be where the center of my circle is going to be. So it's going to move to the right 20 and up 20. So what I want to do is I have to use the shift 2 or the @ symbol, because remember my 0, 0 is down here. Even though I choose that as my base point, I have to tell the computer that if I put that @ in there, it's saying where I just chose is my temporary 0, 0. And I'm going to put in my 20 millimeters. I'm moving to the right, so it's positive along my X coordinate or my X axis, and then comma, and we're moving up. So it's also going to be 20 for my Y axis. Now, notice the next thing it asks is to specify my diameter. In this case, it is 18. All right, so let's go ahead and place the other circle that's over here on the right-hand side. Do the same step. I'm doing my snap, or excuse me, my circle. my snap from. I'm going to choose this one as my base point because I know it's 20 over and 20 up to get to the center of that circle. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go ahead and do my at symbol. And now since I'm moving to the left, that's along the negative side to my axis. So I'm going to put my -20, comma, I'm still moving up, which is in the positive direction on my y-axis. Because remember, you have to pretend that this is your y, this is your x, and this is your 0, 0 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my 20, hit enter, and then type in my diameter. Now you may ask, how did I know this was 20 over and 20 up? Is don't forget, this is a line of symmetry. So whatever it is on this side, it is also on the right side here. So now we're going to go ahead and place this circle right here. Let's go to our circle command diameter, snap from. Now this time I want to snap from the center of this arc that I have here. So what I have to do is drag my cursor across the arc and notice how that plus comes up. If yours doesn't, that would mean that either your object snap is not on or you do not have your center item selected. So make sure there's a check for your center line or your center mark. So we're going to go ahead and select that as our base point, put our at symbol. And in this case, I have to look and see, oh, and I might say, oh, wait a minute. I just assumed it was from a corner, but I don't have a measurement here to the right that lets me know how far from this corner it is. Well, let's examine what we have here a little closer. We have this 20 degrees, and it's from that midpoint of this horizontal line is where this circle is going to be placed. So it's going to be over 20 and down 20. So from here is where I need to choose my base point. So let's try that again. Go to our circle diameter, choose our snap from, and I'm going to snap to my midpoint. And again, my at symbol, shift 2. And since I'm going to be moving to the left here for my circle, I have to put negative, and it's over 20. And I'm also going to be moving down to find that center place. So it's going to be -20 again. And again, you're looking at your XY coordinate system. So now we go ahead and put in our 18. And there we go. And let's do this one more time from our midpoint. Now, oops, look, I just created that circle. So let me just go ahead. I'm going to put my 18 and I'm going to move it this time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to modify something on my drawing. And you could hit escape and go ahead and restart and do the snap from, but I just want to show you some other options to practice as you're moving through these drawings, because it may be easier sometime down the road to move something versus starting over. So the first thing I want to do is select my object. It tells me select the object you want to move. And then notice it still says select objects because I can move as many things as I want to that are on the screen. So to move the command to the next step, I have to hit enter or right click. And now it says specify your base point. I'm going to specify, again, I'm dragging my cursor across the circle so it shows me my center point. And now it says specify your second point. So how far over that you want to move this? Like, did you want to move it over 20 millimeters, whatever? Well, I'm going to do the at symbol. And I'm going to, again, because where I just chose, I want to tell the computer is my 0, 0, 0, my temporary 0, 0. And I need to move it over 20, comma, and then down 20. So it's -20 to get to that location. So I didn't have to start over creating that circle. I just moved it instead. Now you might say, well, there might be some other ways that I could do this a little bit easier and quicker. Yes, but you don't have all the commands in your basket or in your toolbox yet. So it's going to take some time to learn these commands as you go. And you will find if you revisit this drawing, in 2 or 3 weeks from now, there may be a better way to create it. But with the knowledge you have so far, this is probably your best option.